What's your name, sir? Joe. Nice to meet you. I'm David. You said his knowledge is his word, right? You believe in the Bible? You go to church, anything like that? You said what? Uh-huh. Okay, all praise. That's all good. So, what type of church would you go into? Baptist church? Okay, so in the Baptist church, right? Because like my grandmother, she used to go to the Baptist church, right? So in the Baptist church, they necessarily they don't necessarily teach us what God knowledge is according to the Bible, but we're gonna read what His knowledge is according to the Bible. Read.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
So he says, seek out of the book of the Lord and read. Malachi 2 and 7. So that's what it means to seek. You're supposed to be seeking the Bible. Then you said the knowledge, right? We're going to read what the knowledge is. Read.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
So the knowledge of God is what, according to Malachi 2 and 7? Read it again.
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So the priest's lips, another word for a priest is pastor, right? Prophet. Right. It shall seek, what did it say again?
For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So it should keep knowledge. That person that has God in his mouth or is teaching about God should give you knowledge, right? Read on. Right? Supposed to, right? Read.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
So that person that is teaching you about God is supposed to be teaching you God's laws. Like in the Baptist church, do they teach us God laws according to the Bible? Yeah. So, like, let me ask you a question. The one you go to, right? Where's the church at? Is it out here in Compton? Downey? Okay. So, how long you been going to that church? Years? Okay, some years. So, have they ever, like, went over the dietary law, like foods that we should eat and not eat? So, what type of foods do they eat in your church? Like, what type of meat do they eat? Do they eat pork? They don't eat pork? Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily true, but you're pork. You eat shrimp, anything like that? You eat shrimp? Okay, so we're going to remember, the Lord says that we got to seek the Bible, and out of the Bible, we must seek the knowledge, which is the laws of God. So I'm going to give you the law on dietary, Leviticus 11 and 9. Because you said you don't eat pork. That's good. Read.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters.
So what we call in the waters is known today as seafood. Read.
Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So he says, whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, what we call today as seafood, is what you should eat. So what has fins and scales? I know, but what type of fish has fins and scales? Yeah, what type of fish? You know? See, tilapia, right? So those fishes those are the type of fishes that we're supposed to eat that have fins and scales. It has fins and scales. It can have both. It can't have one or either or. Read on.
And all that have not fins and scales.
So it says all that have not fins and scales. Like, for example, I used to like catfish. Does catfish have fins and scales? So read that part again.
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So when we eat foods that do not have fins and scales, the Lord called that abomination. Jeremiah 44. And you know how the Lord feels about abomination? Are we gonna read it? Because a lot of our people eat these abominations on their day-to-day life, right? Day-to-day basics. Like for example, they got churches. We got Carl's Jr. A lot of these food establishments that are in our community, they sell us unclean food. They sell us abominations. But because the preachers, the pastors, these so-called prophets, we're supposed to be seeking the knowledge, which is the law, out of their lips. They are supposed to be teaching us and telling us the difference between what's clean and unclean. But in these churches, they're not teaching us that. So your church is not teaching you the proper way on how to get salvation. Because the Lord says, thou shalt not eat those things. Read.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 44, verse 4. Howbeit I sent unto you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, oh, do not this abominable thing that I hate.
So the Lord hates abominable things. Another word for abominable is abominations. So the Lord hates when we eat shrimp, crab, lobster, catfish, oysters, duck, what do you call it, mouse. No, what's it called? Soup. I know it's called soup, but what's it called? Possum. I know my people from down south, so they eat possum. I remember my granny used to like hog cheese. You ever heard hog cheese? So a lot of these things we eat, we not supposed to. Why are we not supposed to though, Joe? Huh? No, I mean, yes, you're right, but we're not supposed to because God told us it's unclean.
Right.
That's a commandment of God. Remember, Malachi 2:7. Because you said it earlier. You hit it perfect. You hit it right on the head. We're supposed to seek the knowledge. But again, what's the knowledge? Read.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge.
So like you said, we're supposed to seek the knowledge. But read.
And they should seek the law at his mouth.
So what we supposed to be seeking out of the pastor or the so-called prophet's mouth? The laws of God. The laws of God. So now you understand, are you supposed to be eating shrimp, crab, lobster? What are you supposed to be eating that's in the waters that we call seafood today? You're right, what is it supposed to have? And fins and scales. I gotta have. Let's get it again, because I want you to understand this, that this is a law of God. Because you've been going to that church, you said, for years, and they never taught you that. Like the scriptures say, that's a dangerous thing, because you've been going there for years, and you said they talked about it, but they haven't sat down and actually read it to you and broke it down to what God says, what His Word says. That's a very dangerous thing, bro. And if I were you, I would flee from that church, because they're not teaching you the right way according to, huh? So you've been watching online, anything like that? What you been doing? You said what? Or the Bible? Okay. I'm gonna show you something right quick. But
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas, and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
So the Lord says, wherever has fins and scales in the waters, we can eat. But if it does not have fins and scales, can we eat? We can't eat. I'm going to hold it before you leave. I want to show you something. Deuteronomy 1:1. So the reason why the Lord said that this is the things that you can eat, these are the things that you cannot eat, is because He chose the children of Israel. Have you ever read about Moses? Now remember in Egypt, what did the Lord send Moses to do in Egypt? Yeah, what did the Lord send Moses to do in Egypt? What did He do? Huh? Yeah, but to who? No. Remember Moses. Moses was he grew up under the house of Pharaoh. And when Moses found out he was an Israelite, remember, he saved his brother that was getting beaten by the Egyptian, and he fled to the wilderness. And the Lord came to him in the wilderness. Then he went back to Egypt to save his people, which are the children of Israel.
That's right.
That is us today, blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans. We are the children of Israel. We are the people of the book. Yes, sir. Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1 and verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Unto who?
All Israel.
Who again?
All Israel.
Joe, who is Moses speaking to? All Israel. You're 100% right. Deuteronomy 28:15. I want to get straight to the point. Huh? I know you got to go. I want to show this before you leave. Read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So my brother Joe, according to the Bible, right, are you a so-called African American, so-called black, Negro? So according to the Bible, on that sign right there, it says that the African American, the Negroes, they come from the tribe of Judah. That's the first name right there. So according to the Bible, you can't find Negro, African American in the Bible. So the Lord, because of our disobedience, he put curses upon the children of Israel. Let's read 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
So the Lord says one curse that the so-called African Americans, they will be a proverb, a byword, an astonishment among all nations. Now, you know when we became an astonishment? Hey Joe, you know when we became an astonishment? In slavery. In slavery. Joe, we became an astonishment in slavery. Because astonished thing is, these people are supposed to be the children of God, but the Lord allowed the bases of men to conquer the gods of the earth. That's an astonishment. A proverb is a wise saying. What they like to say about black people? We lazy. You said what? So you're right. That's the proverb that they give us, right? But how can we be lazy when we built up America?
Right.
You understand? You said what? Exactly. And it said a byword. A byword. Like, for example, what's your last name, my brother? What's your last name, sir? Thomas. Where does Thomas, the origin of Thomas, where does that name come from? Huh? Okay. But where does that name come from? It does. It does. Exactly. That is the curse that happened to us in slavery. The origin of our last names is not our biblical names. All that happened, right? Exactly. The origin of our names come from slavery. That's all the curse. 48. So what we gotta understand is that they stripped us from our biblical name. Because you know what Judah means? No, well, take the pictures. Yeah. You know what it means though? It means praise of Yah. You know what Israel means, Joe? Israel means prince that has power with God. So the blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, we are the Israelites. So we are the princes that have power with God, Joe. Read.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
So, Joe, when did a black man serve his enemy? Yeah, when? When in time frame, right? Timeline. Yeah, when do we serve our enemy? When in time did the black man serve his enemy? Because read that part again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. enemies.
Now remember, he said Moses speaking to the Israelites. So these curses fell upon the Israelites. He's saying, on this curse, you shall serve your enemies. Did the black man ever serve his enemy? You sure? Yeah. When? Exactly, slavery. Slavery. And you know today, you know what today, Joe? Today is modern day slavery. We go to work 9 to 5. We got to give our paycheck, certain portion to the white man, Uncle Sam, taxes. So we still in modern day slavery today, but they just took off the whips. It's gonna explain that a little later. Exactly. That's watch. Hold on, before you leave, I know you said something that's very powerful. That's in the Bible. Watch, read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
It said, you shall serve your enemies, Joe. Read.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So the Most High sent the white man, the Arab man, the China man against the blacks and Hispanics because we broke God's commandments. That's the reason why slavery happened, because we broke God's commandments. God gave his commandments to the blacks and Hispanics. So because we did not want to obey God, we disobeyed God. Now he sent our enemies against us. And that's the reason why we have those last names. That's the reason why we're astonishment. Read.
In hunger.
So in hunger, we got to serve our enemy. In slavery, slave master, you had to serve your enemy for food. That today, do we own any of these corporations that deal with food? Yes. Yeah, right. Yes, like own. We can say that's ours. No, I hear you. We do not. So that's a curse that fits the blacks and Hispanics. Read.
And in thirst.
In thirst. Dealing with water, dealing with anything to drink. We have to go to our enemy to quench our thirst. Even with our water bill. If you don't pay your water bill on time, what happens? They cut it off. And what race cuts off your what race is behind what race is the face of the government? Exactly. Read on, because remember he said your enemies. Read.
And in nakedness.
In clothing. A lot of our clothes say what? Made in China, made in Taiwan. So whatever food, he said food, drink, clothing, we have to get from our enemies. Our own people don't produce these things. And our people that might have a name like Sean John, Rockefeller, they still have to get loans and they have to get improvements for the government to even put their name on clothing. So that they still under that curse. Read.
And in want of all things.
So it says in the want of all things, Joe. Religion, education. Who's behind those institutions that our people flock to, like education? What race of people put the curriculum together for our people to go through kindergarten, middle school, high school, college? What race is behind that curriculum? Caucasian man. But remember, what did God call them? Exactly, our enemy. Read on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now, Joe, you said it earlier. The yokes are iron, right? It said that enemy will put a yoke of iron upon our neck. When did that happen? Slavery. That happened to the blacks and Hispanics. The Spaniards conquered the Hispanics, so-called Hispanics, our Latino brothers, and the British conquered us. Read on.
Until he have destroyed thee.
So now, like you said earlier, is the yokes and iron on our necks, Joe? Do you got any? Yeah, right now. We got physical yokes and iron on our necks. We got physical. No, I'm talking about right now. Yes. Do we have yokes? Hey, but hold on. You jumped the gun. You're right. But do we have it physically though? We don't. Nobody has physical yokes and iron on our necks. But remember, mentally, like you said, we do. Why? Because they programmed us. Like for example, what's the purpose of putting a leash on a dog? To train them up. So the reason why the yokes and iron is not on our necks no more, because they trained us to be Negroes. They trained us to be African Americans. They trained us, to break God's commandments. So before you leave, can you eat shrimp? Why not? Nope, it don't got fins and scales. It gotta have fins and scales, Joe. All right, read them. Hey, Joe. Hey, Joe. According to the Bible, remember you from the tribe of Judah. You're an Israelite. Read.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
So, Joe, on the back of the dollar, right? What animal symbol is on the back of the dollar? An eagle. An eagle. That's how we know who is our enemy according to the Bible. The Lord said that a race of people will be swift as the eagle flying. And on the back of that dollar and their national symbol, animal symbol, it is the eagle. That's how we know who the enemy is according to the Bible, to the black man and Hispanic man, a.k.a. the Israelites. That's who we are. We are the Israelites. Remember that. We are the Israelites.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.